Hello, Jonathan Manske here, and I'm going to share with you a technique called the Manske 5-organ technique, and yes, I named it after myself. The Manske 5-organ technique is roughly inspired by Chinese medicine, and particularly one principle in Chinese medicine that the major organs have emotions associated with them. So the emotion of the kidneys is fear, the emotion of the liver is anger, the emotion of the heart is love and joy and happiness and that sort of stuff. The lungs are sadness and grief, and the spleen is thinking and worry and overthinking and concern and that sort of thing. And when any one of these organ systems gets out of alignment, gets imbalanced, then that emotion will start to show up in our life. And so what this technique does is, on a general level, it creates a greater sense of integration and relaxation in your body. And so it's something that's really useful to do, like say, right before you go to bed at night, just to kind of put an end to the day. Now, but we can also work on specific organs with that issue. So if I'm experiencing anger, what I can do is I can put my hands here on the right rib cage where my liver is, and I can just breathe into my hands with the intention that I'm relaxing my liver and balancing the energy there. And just take a couple deep breaths like that, and all of a sudden my state of consciousness is going to change, and that anger is going to diminish. Okay, so here's the Manske 5-organ technique. And the most important part of this is your intention. And our intention when you're doing your intention when you're doing this is that you're balancing and harmonizing these energies. So what you want to do is you want to take your left hand and put it on your right rib cage, which is where your liver is at. And then you're going to take your right hand and you're going to put it on your heart, like the Pledge of Allegiance position. And the intention is that we're just balancing the energies between these two hands. And so you'll take just a couple deep breaths. And you'll know when it's time to quit, because your body, you'll feel your body kind of shift stages a little bit, like a kind of a relaxation. And you'll know, okay, that's good, and then you'll move. Then keeping your right hand over your heart, you're going to move your left hand over here onto the left rib cage, which is where your spleen is at. And now we're balancing the energies of the heart and the spleen. And again, same thing, just take a couple of breaths. See, and I felt that shift, so I know I'm now ready to move on. Keeping my left hand on the spleen, I'm going to move my right hand up to the center of my chest, which is my lungs. And so now we're balancing the spleen and the lungs. Again, same thing, couple of breaths. Now keeping the right hand on my lungs, I'm going to move my left hand to my belly button and balance the lungs and the kidneys. Now the kidneys are technically located in the back of the body, but this is close enough. Same thing, couple of breaths. And again, I feel that shift in my state of consciousness. Keeping my left hand on my belly button to do the kidneys, I'm going to bring my right hand to my right rib cage. So now I'm balancing the liver and the kidneys. Same thing, couple of deep breaths. I've now completed that cycle, and I've integrated the major organ systems, and I've created a balance and a harmony. And typically what people will feel is they'll feel lighter, they'll feel more connected, more alive, more relaxed, just from getting all these organ systems back in communication. Think when, like, a good friend of yours and you got in a fight, and there was like this tension between you, and then you guys made up, and all of a sudden it was just so much easier to be around that person. Well, that's kind of what we're doing with these organ systems. So if the liver and the heart aren't really communicating, and all of a sudden you balance that out, and they go, and they get back into relationship, your whole body's going to feel better. So I recommend doing this technique every night, just right before you go to bed, as this quick balancing, cleaning, integrating sort of thing. And then if any of those specific things are going on, you can just breathe in the specific area. So you can do the liver here for anger, or if you're feeling grief and sadness, you can do the lungs, or if you're feeling your mind is super busy and thinking, or you're worrying or you're anxious, you can do the spleen, or you're experiencing fear, you can do the kidneys. And just breathing into that, it's going to create that shift, it's going to create that balance, and it's going to make you feel better. Jonathan Manske, jonathanmanske.com, and you can also reach me at 303-552-7285. Thanks for tuning in, and please check out my other videos.